You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Make that 5 losses in a row, with the Mavs now 0-4 in games that they play without Luka and without Kyrie. Here we go. Welcome into the Mavs Postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every game. I'm Jeff Biggs, happy to be with you on this Monday night. Wish it was after Mavs win, but that was not the case. Nonetheless, we thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed. And don't forget, from big upsets in game-winning drives from big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, coming up on our show tonight, we will talk about the return of Naji Marhall, who was back after sitting out the 4 games for that ridiculous suspension. Naji was back tonight and back in the starting lineup. Also, we'll talk about a very nice start for the Mavs. They got off to a great start. You couldn't have asked for a better start for the Mavs in this one on the road in Memphis. It was the second half and the finish that was disappointing. And with the news that we received earlier today that Kyrie Irving now has a bulging disc in his back and is going to be out 1 to 2 weeks, according to media reports, the Mavs suffer yet another injury in this game tonight in the second quarter when big man Daniel Gafford went down with a sprained ankle. Hopefully, the fact that Gafford was able to walk off into the locker room on his own in his own power, on his own strength, hopefully that means it's not too bad. But the fact that he was not able to return, don't think that bodes well for tomorrow. But you never know. I mean, these guys get round-the-clock treatment. I know it's a big game tomorrow night with the Lakers, and if there's a way for DG to go, he will do so. But nonetheless, you knew going into this game it was going to be a challenge for a couple of reasons. No Luka, no Kyrie. We were kind of hoping, at least I was, that after Friday night and that tough loss to the Cavs, we thought, okay, maybe Kyrie will rest and he'll get over that illness. The Mavs were off Saturday and Sunday, and he thought, okay, at least Kyrie will be back for the back-to-back with Memphis and the Lakers. And then we got the news today that, no, Kyrie is going to be out for a couple of weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, with that back issue, the bulging disc in his back. Jason Kidd saying before the game tonight that they'll have more information in 48 hours. But again, coming into this game, you knew it was going to be tough. You knew it was not going to be easy to win on the road in Memphis. Memphis, one of the better home teams in the NBA. We know all that. But I think the tough part for me is that, yeah, the Mavs have their injuries, but the Grizzlies have their injuries as well. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, this is an opportunity, for this Mavs group welcoming back Naji Marhall into the fold. This is their opportunity to kind of get a win for themselves on the road. Again, after 2 days off, tough loss on Friday night, not a super long trip, going to Memphis. Again, taking on a Grizzlies team that was playing their first game after a 5-game road trip. And I've talked about that before. More often than not, first game back after a long road trip, those games are like trap games. I mean, they're weird. You would think it would be just the opposite, right? You would think it would be, hey, we were on a trip, we're back home, you're excited to be home, you're energized, but for whatever reason, it's like I think your body knows that you're back home, and your body kind of gets into this kind of weird relaxed mode when you come back from a trip like that, and it kind of takes a while to get the energy going. But and we kind of saw that tonight. I mean, the Mavs got off to, I mean, you couldn't have scripted a better start considering the lineup that they had with Naji back in the starting lineup. And that move, by the way, Naji in the starting lineup, I really like that a lot. I thought it was great. I'm a big fan of Naji. I like his game. I like what we've seen from him so far. I like the way that he plays. I like his energy. I like his instincts and just his speed. And he just seems to know what to do, where to go, what to do with the ball, where to go. He reads the court really well. So I was actually very excited when I heard that Naji was going to be in the starting lineup. No problem with that at all. Maxey in the starting lineup, that was a bit of a surprise to me, but I get it. And the tough thing about Maxey is I have no problem with his defense. I mean, he plays well. He's, again, really smart guy, but man, he's got to find just a little something with that shot to help to not be a liability. And I felt bad for him because he missed that first three early in the game in the first quarter. I mean, he took that shot pretty early, and you can tell that just his confidence just deflated. Yeah, he ended up with 4 points, made a couple of baskets, but was just a non-factor. PJ Washington, I thought, had a very steady game. He, like a bunch of Mavs, had some really key misses at key points in the game. Just one of those nights where obviously when you're the Mavs and you score 36 in the first quarter and then 19 in the second, that's not the formula that you want or that you're going to win with. So PJ, though, 17 points, ended up with 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I mean, a very solid game for PJ. He led the way. Naji ended up with 16, and then Klay Thompson had 15. He got the start in 27 minutes. Klay, though, he'll be the first to tell you, had a couple of good baskets early, had a couple late, but ended up on the night 5 of 16 overall, 3 of 8 from beyond the 3-point line, and ended up with 15. But it was a tough night for Klay. Had some really pivotal key misses in the second half for the Mavs. And then Derek Lively ended up with 14 points and 12 rebounds, so a nice double-double for Derek Lively. But this is kind of a weird, he played really well, I thought, defensively, but it just seemed like everything was kind of out of sorts for the Mavs in the second half until they tried to get back in it and made that run and cut it down to 5 a couple of different times in the fourth quarter. But I thought when the Mavs were really, really focused and locked in on their defense, that was when they got their offense going. And then when they were kind of settling with some bad possessions, I think that's when bad things happened on both ends of the floor. And it doesn't take long for this Memphis team, to build that lead back up to double digits in a hurry. And that is exactly what happened. On the bench tonight, Jason Kidd was trying to find some things. Dwight Powell had a basket. Daniel Gafford had 5 points before he injured. He only played 8 minutes. Spencer Dinwiddie ended up with 6. He did knock down a couple of threes, ended up playing 30 minutes, but I'm not gonna speak for Jason Kidd and say that Spencer's in the doghouse, but certainly his role has changed over the last week. I thought he was in we talked about this the last game, and I thought Dinwiddie was in a really good spot to kind of help this time with his experience and his leadership. and just his overall headiness, and it just has not played out that way. And he has struggled on both ends of the floor, has Spencer Dinwiddie. And I don't know. I don't know about I don't know how that's gonna play out or turn around for him. And then aside from that, Quentin Grimes, who I said this the other night after Friday night, Quentin Grimes, who had that monster third quarter on Friday night in the loss to the Cavs when he scored 20. I said this Friday night, I was really hoping, I still am, but I was really hoping that performance on Friday night would really be a springboard for Quentin, especially with his injuries right now, for him to really kind of just step up his game and crank it up. And unfortunately, that was not the case tonight. Grimes ended up with only 9, with 1 point in just 1 minute for Brandon Williams. Jayden Hardy had a really nice run in the third quarter. I don't think he played at all. I could be wrong. I don't think he played at all in the first half. Ended up with 15 points in 21 minutes, including 3 threes, 5 of 10, had a couple of assists, a few rebounds, probably one of his better games, and again, coming off the bench, but just not enough. This Grizzlies team, 119 points to 104 for the Mavs. So we'll talk more about what happened tonight, some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Also, energy and effort. I want to explain what that means, and we'll talk a little bit more about the injuries, including tonight's loss to Daniel Gafford. All that is coming up as we continue. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right, you know what time of year it is, and we love watching the games, and we love everything that's going on right now. I know I do. And with basketball season heating up, there is no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or you just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You think LeBron's going to drop 30, or maybe Luka, when he comes back, is going to get more than 8 assists. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Now, I know a lot of people that have been using Prize Picks all season long, and let me tell you, it is addictive. I know somebody last week that picked Jason Tatum for more than 29 points and Anthony Edwards for more than 25, and that is the kind of action that we're talking about. And with Prize Picks, flex play option, even if one of your picks doesn't hit, you can still double your money. Plus, once I hit, I get my money fast, sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It's honestly the best way to keep the game exciting. Now, here is the perfect time. Now is the perfect time to join. All you do is download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. And no need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, welcome back to the Mavs Postcast on this Monday night. My name is Jeff Biggs. Happy to be with you. Unfortunately, not a good night for the Mavs. They fall to the Grizz in Memphis, 119 to 105. The Mavs are now 10-9 on the road. Wait, is that right? Did they update that yet, or is that 10-10? Yeah, 10-10. Excuse me, 10-10 on the road, 20-16 on the season. Wasn't too long ago that the Mavs were the number 3 team in the Western Conference. They had that great run from mid-November into late December where they were the hottest team in the NBA. And now they have dropped from number 3 all the way down to number 6 at 20-16. Again, now with a 5-game losing streak and a big game tomorrow as they return home for their first matchup of the season with LeBron and the Lakers. Now, we found out about Jason Kidd and the injury, and again, with Kyrie Irving and the injury. Jason Kidd was asked before the game, when asked about these injuries and everything that's going on with Luka and now Kyrie, what does he want? What does he want to see? What does he need from the Mavs that are available to play? What can they do to make up for those absences? And Kidd simply told the media, energy and effort. Those were going to be the big keys. And I think without a doubt, we saw that in the first quarter tonight. The Mavs outscored the Grizz in that first quarter, 36-26. I told you I had no problems with Naji in the starting lineup and the way that he played. Naji in that first quarter had 6 points. He had 3 assists. Even Spencer Dinwiddie in that first quarter had a couple of threes, even though he didn't start. PJ Washington had 9 points with 7 for Klay. And at one point in that first quarter, the Mavs went on a 13-2 run to build their 10-point lead. But early in the second quarter, actually halfway through the second quarter, almost halfway, Daniel Gafford landed on what's his name's foot, on Konchar's foot. There we go, on Konchar's foot, and ended up tweaking his left ankle and did not return. We'll see about tomorrow. But the Grizz had a 13-2 run, and they ended up outscoring the Mavs in the second quarter, 30-19. And the Mavs just had they had that drought there, and then the scoring drought continued to start the third quarter, and that's when Memphis built their lead up to 12. The Mavs did come back. They did get back into it, got it down to 5 again a couple of times, not only in the third but also in the fourth. But it was just not enough. They could not get over the hump. There were some good stretches of defense there, but not enough to pull out the win. And like I said, that's the part that's disappointing, because you basically had the Mavs and their backups against the Grizzlies and their backups, and unfortunately the Mavs were not able to get the win on the road, even though they were facing a Memphis team that was kind of flat, at least early on. But once the Mavs kind of went cold with their offense, that allowed Memphis to get back into the game, and they were able to pull it out. But back to Jason Kidd's comments about energy and effort. Certainly that's going to be key. And we talked about this the other night as well, Friday night. I mean, this is going to be an interesting month because of the schedule. The Mavs have some big games. They have 3 sets of back-to-backs. They're going to complete the back-to-back tomorrow night with the Lakers, but you have that going in. Now add the injury to Kyrie Irving, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, really, I think the big thing for me is you just got to hope that both Luka and Kyrie, if they can both get back at full strength and feeling good and 100%, by the end of the month, or even sooner, or even the beginning of February, I'll take that. That is still plenty of time. We mentioned that February 6th is going to be the NBA trade deadline, and we'll have to see what what the Mavs decide to do. I know Nico. Look, every team wants to improve. Every team wants to make their team better. But I think Nico has proven that he knows what the team needs. He's made good moves. I don't think he needs anyone to tell him that this Mavs team, you got Luka, who's not getting any younger. Year number 7 here. This is, you don't want to waste Luka's prime. And so if you have an opportunity to improve your team and to get better and to pull the trigger and to make a move, you got to do that. And I'm sure if there's a move to be made that will make the Mavs better, I'm confident that Nico will do that. Here's the thing, though. I mean, we can talk about this all day long, and like I said, it sounds good, and there's all kinds of things that look good or may sound good on paper, right? But the truth is, the reality is, in real life and the real world in the NBA, you got to have 2 teams to make a deal, right? I mean, the Mavs can want to do this and the Mavs can want to do that, but they need another team that's going to make a move and make a trade with them. And so that's always the part that we sometimes leave out. And so, unless, and the other part of it too is, if you don't want to make a trade just to make a trade. You don't want to make a trade that's going to make your team worse. You want a trade that's going to make your team better. And again, that's not always as easy as it may sound or may seem. So, with all that said, it just, as great as that stretch was from mid-November to the end of December, that, like I said this Friday night, it feels like that was a month ago when it was really only, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But it is what it is, and the Mavs are just going to have to ride this out, and hopefully, even with the injuries, with each game that goes on, the players that are out there right now, the guys that we saw tonight, will continue to grow together and feed off of each other. I really, I say this almost every game, but I think the way that the Mavs play defense, I think they can hang their hat on that. I think if they really focus on that, I think the offense will be there. Unfortunately, it's so hard in a lot of these games because, they're facing good teams with good offenses with a lot of firepower, and it can get really easy in the moment to kind of get caught up in that. And that's one thing that the Mavs can't do. They've got to be able to just focus on their defense and let that set up their offense, and try not to have those lulls like we saw tonight, where they go long stretches without scoring any points. Now, again, this was on the road. It was in Memphis, and so you hope that returning home, that will help things out as well. All right, our final timeout. When we come back, some final thoughts. We'll talk about the Lakers and talk a little bit more about this loss tonight in Memphis. 119-104. The Mavs go down to the Grizz. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right, you know how much we love FanDuel. We talk about them a lot. A big part of what we do. And, from big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are simply better with FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. All you have to do is visit the website, share betting lines around your team or league. Again, just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, our final segment here on the Mavs postcast. My name is Jeff Biggs. Thanks for hanging with me. And again, don't forget, Nick Anstedt and the crew, Isaac, slightly biased. They're going to be doing their thing, and they will be with you every day this week as well, giving you the very latest on all of the injuries, trade rumors, everything you need to know with the Mavs. You don't need to hear it from me. Their coverage is outstanding. I believe the best in the NBA. So be sure and check them out during the week. I will be back with you tomorrow night after the Lakers game back here in Texas. So hopefully, we haven't had a lot of love coming out of the new year from the comment crew, and I'm hoping the comment crew will get on board and really get back into the show here as we get into the new year. Real simple. You just go to the comments section and we can interact and get your thoughts and let you be heard live on the air. That's why we're doing these shows, because there's so much interest in the Mavs and their season and what they're doing, that we wanted this show live for the post-game coverage and reaction. So please be a part of that as well here on the Mavs postcast. Well, tonight, like I said, the way the Mavs started, outscoring the Grizz 36-26 in the first quarter, I thought that was really going to be a springboard. I thought the Mavs, for a while there, felt like they were in control, that they were imposing their will and doing what they wanted to do, and then they went really, really cold in the second quarter. Finally kind of got it going midway through the third, but they were already down by double digits. And then when they really needed to kind of step it up and not only overcome the double-digit deficit, but also pull out the win, they were outscored in that fourth quarter by the Grizz 32-24. As Memphis pulled out the win. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr., he was the star of the game for the Grizz with 35 and 13. But I mean, that's one of the more quiet 35s I think you'll see this season. I mean, no, that's no disrespect to him or slight to him at all. It was just very kind of quiet, very smooth, and then all of a sudden, he's got 35 points. Where did that come from? Jalen Wells had 17. Luke Kennard ended up doing his thing with 13. Scottie Pippen Jr. with 18. And again, the Mavs went to the free throw line 15 times. The Grizzlies went to the free throw line 35 times. And if this was a playoff series, you would see, Jason Kidd would make note of that, and you would see a shift in the refs in the very next game. But because it's just a game in the regular season, it'll be forgotten for now. But I mean, that is a big discrepancy. The other issue, the Mavs were out rebounded 55-50. Turnovers, a little bit better for the Mavs, although they still had 15. Memphis had 13. 11 steals from Memphis with only 7 for Dallas in this game. And then taking a look at the team stats, the points in the paint in this game tonight, 52 for Memphis, 48 for Dallas, and the fouls 22-17 for the Mavs. But again, the numbers, Dallas 13 of 36 from beyond the three-point line, Memphis 12 of 35. but the free throw line, the difference for Memphis, 35 trips compared to 15 for Dallas, and they ended up winning by 15 points. So there you go. All right, that is going to do it for our time tonight, but I want to say thank you to those of you who have been watching and listening, and I want to say thank you also for those of you that listen in advance. I'm sorry, that listen when we're not live, that listen in the future at another time. We appreciate you participating as well, and you can jump in when you can and participate when you can. Really, right now it's all about, when can Luka get back? Will he be 100%, and will he be able to kind of get back to that level that he was really close to right before? I mean, that Christmas game against Minnesota, Luka was, every game he was getting better and better, and you were starting to see him take it to that next level. And so the question will be, will Luka be able to come back and get back to that level pretty quickly? And then what about Kyrie? Are we going to see the same Kyrie that we've seen glimpses of this season? Because I made this comment before, a couple games ago, that with Luka out here, Kyrie has done such a good job of being, a facilitator and picking his spots. But man, even before, I was wondering, when are we going to have a game or see a game when Kyrie just goes nuts and, scores 40 or 50 or more or close to that. And unfortunately, now with this injury, he's going to be out a week to 2 weeks. And, you just hope that when he does come back, you hope it's not serious, and you hope that when he does come back, it's something that he's able to, play through and still get back to being the same Kyrie who, seemingly can score anytime down the court when he wants to. So that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of, it's kind of wait and see, right? On our end as fans, we know that they're going to come back, and we're going to wait for that. We're going to see what happens. But in the meantime, if you're the Mavs and you're the Mavs players, the guys that are available right now, you're not thinking about any of that. You're thinking about, what can I do to help us win a game and snap this 5-game losing streak? They're going to play the Lakers on Tuesday. They're going to play what's going to be probably a tough matchup with Portland on Thursday. And then you have back-to-back games at home with Denver. and then it's back on the road for New Orleans, and a back-to-back, and then back home to play Oklahoma City, and then back on the road again for one game. So, and wrapping up the month, a road trip, another road game at OKC, and a home game with the Celtics. So no rest for the weary, no sympathy. The bottom line is the Mavs have just got to play better and do better and find a way to try to win some games without Luka and without Kyrie, and hope those two can get back ASAP. I will be back with you tomorrow night after the game. Don't forget, Nick and the crew on the Locked On Mavs podcast. Again, my name is Jeff Biggs. Our final score tonight, the Mavs fall in Memphis 119-104. This has been the Mavs Postcast.